Hi there. As you can see, I came ready to get wet today. And that's because we are talking about baptism. And water is an essential part of baptism. Water is very powerful. For example, water has the power to drown something like this rock in the pool. But water also has the power to give life. Water nourishes this plant, like all the plants in the world, all of the plants of God's creation. And water also nourishes us. Water satisfies our thirst and keeps us alive. And last, but certainly not least, water helps us to stay clean. Water washes us clean every day. So from this, you can see that water has power of both death and the power of life. And that makes water a good reminder about God's power in our lives. We believe that God gives us life. God, as the creator of the world, gives us and everything else on the planet life. And we also trust and believe that when we die, then God raises us back up into new life and eternal life with God. So water is a good reminder for us every day of God's presence in our lives too. But all of this can be a bit tricky to understand, so I brought a few more things with me to help us think about and learn more about baptism. First, we have a doll. Now picture yourself as this doll on the day you were baptized. When that water touched your skin, it is as if you were submerged in the water, as if you actually drowned in it. So at that moment in your baptism, it was like everything that is in you that is not completely of God was drowned. It died. And then when God rose you up out of the water, you were completely of God. You were born anew, born again. And this time you are named as a child of God, and that identity will never go away. I also brought a white t-shirt. Now, if you've seen a baptism, you might have noticed that people often wear the color white when they are baptized, and there's a good reason for this. It's because white reminds us that when Jesus came into the world, he was completely clean of sin. He was pure, and that was so that he could take on our sin and give us his forgiveness. And so when we wear the color white, it's a reminder to us that we put on the clothes, we put on the forgiveness of Jesus. And that is one of the gifts of baptism. I also brought with me a candle. Now, on the day you were baptized, you likely received a candle too, and you might even still have it. This candle is a reminder that Jesus is the light of the world. Jesus guides our way for us, like a lamp shows us where to walk. Jesus guides the way. And when we were baptized, we also received some of Jesus' light to carry ourselves so that we can let that light shine in the world too. And that is why we sing that song that you all know. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. The candle is a reminder for us of the light of Christ in the world and the light that Jesus has given each of us to share. Next, I brought a branch. Now you might be thinking, what does a branch have to do with baptism? Well, in the scriptures, Jesus says, I am the vine and you are the branches. So think of Jesus like a great big tree, and that Jesus tree has roots that sink way down deep and connect to God. And off of that great big tree comes us, the branches. Now, if one of those branches were to get broken off, Could it survive? Would it still live apart from the tree? No, it would be dead. So when Jesus says, I am the vine, you are the branches, it's a reminder to us that we need Jesus for life, for true life. We live only in Jesus. And then we have our bath scrubby again. And this is a reminder, yes, like we already talked about, that we are washed clean from sin. But the bath scrubby also reminds us that just like we take a bath or a shower every day, we also receive God's forgiveness every day. So we are only baptized once, but we return to God over and over again to ask for forgiveness. And every time we do, God washes us again, washes us clean from all of our sin. And finally, I have a picture here. This is a picture drawn by a man named Daniel Erlander. And it's a picture of a church family. Now, you have your family at home, which they might be sitting with you right now, but you also have a huge church family. It's made up of all of the people at Mountain View, but it's also made up of all of the Christians throughout the world. They are your church family, and the job of a church family is to love and support one another, and also to help one another to practice living out our faith. So when you are baptized, God says that you are adopted into God's family. So you have your family at home, your mom and dad and your grandparents, your siblings, but you also have this big, beautiful church family to support you. Whew, that's a lot. From all of this, I hope you heard and will remember that baptism is a wonderful gift that you have received from God. In it, you receive the gift of forgiveness, not just once, but every single day. You receive God's love every single day, and you know that you are forever a child of God. So now I hope you'll take a few minutes and talk with your parents about how you can now live as a baptized child of God. All right, guys, thanks for joining. I'll see you next time.